Hi there, I'm Susan Foxley, and I'm an author, a life coach, a yoga instructor, and a clinical hypnotherapist. And I'm going to share with you the 10 words that will change your life, the Ho'oponopono prayer. I heard about this prayer about 11 years ago from my friend Hans. I think that God speaks through people. And he told me that Dr. Hew Len was this gentleman, this doctor in Hawaii that healed a whole criminally insane mental ward just by saying these 10 words. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. He didn't even say it face to face to them. He said it to their folders. He sat in his own office, clearing and cleaning. He calls it clearing and cleaning the data. He looked at the files, and just as he read the files, would say over and over like a mantra, I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. He talks about this Ho'oponopono prayer clearing the data, getting back to zero. And he said the data is your subconscious mind. And as a clinical hypnotherapist, I know that 95% of what shows up in our lives is from our subconscious mind. And that's downloaded from the ages of 1 to 7. And that information goes in when our brain waves are at theta. All that information goes in from our caregivers, our environment, our parents, and it just goes in. And that's why as we get older, we have those same judgments, those same criticisms, those same emotions similar to our childhood or of our parents or our upbringing. So Dr. Hew Len says to take 100% responsibility. But when I heard about this prayer, I knew a lot of my clients and relatives were suffering. So I decided to get right to it. And I started, everyone that I saw was struggling, I would just in my mind just say, I love you. And I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I would say it over and over again. And I would actively ignore what they're sharing with me, some horrible story that had happened to them. And I would actively ignore and see them in the highest version of who they are. I love what Thich Nhat Hanh says. He says, see everyone as a 4-year-old. So when they would be telling me their stories, I would see them as this pure, innocent 4-year-old. This pure, innocent 4-year-old in divine perfection. I know whatever we seek, we find. Whatever we seek, we find. Whatever we focus on grows. So are we feeding the bad wolf or the good wolf? The bad wolf is the illness. The good wolf is the wellness. So I actively ignored their illness and continued to just focus on their wellness. Continued to affirm their wellness over and over and over again, feeding the good wolf, making that good wolf, that wellness really fat, actively ignoring this and watching this fall away. So I love this prayer. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And it starts with our brains. It actually starts with us when we Ho'oponopono prayer people. And every problem begins with us. Dr. Hew Len says, most things I see are just a projection. And the origin of the problem is always in self. Taking 100% responsibility for self. And I can choose to see everyone in higher versions of who they are, even though they may be showing me lower versions of fear and worry and resentment and anger. I can actively ignore that and choose to see them in the highest version of who they are. Again, what we seek, we find. So I started doing this with saying it out loud to some of my relatives, and out loud to my clients, out loud to myself. And then when I'd see people on the street struggling, I would use it as a mantra. I love you and I'm so sorry you're struggling. Please forgive me. Thank you for being you. And I would say it to my relatives, I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And it was like melting ice around their heart. It completely just melted their hearts. Melted their hearts. They started to soften. They started to be less angry, less resistant, more healed, more happy, more whole. Even with my husband, when we were having issues, I would just say, I love you and I'm so sorry if I hurt you. Please forgive me and thank you for being you. And it was like an eraser, just erasing all of that junk, all of that data, getting back to zero. That's right. Dr. Hew Len says the prayer is clearing and cleaning the data, the subconscious programming, clearing and cleaning back, getting back to zero. So when we see someone in front of us that has an illness, we have to take 100% responsibility for clearing and cleaning it and getting back to zero. So when I would see someone with an illness, I would see them in their wellness. I would close my eyes and see them in their wellness. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. So I love this prayer. Just remember, it starts between our ears. We can clear and clean, and it's a choice whether we want to see someone in the highest version of who they are or the lowest version of who they are. And if you take I out of illness and put we, you get wellness. It's together that we heal. Together we heal. Seeing each other in the highest version. And we can Ho'oponopono prayer ourselves. We can Ho'oponopono prayer our organs. We can Ho'oponopono prayer our homes, our neighbors, our planet, our oceans, our mountains. I know for me in the morning, I wake up in the morning and I place my hands on my heart and I just go, I love you. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And then I'll even look in the mirror at myself when I'm putting on my makeup. I love you. I'm so sorry that I can be so hard on you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I use it as a mantra every day. When I see my clients face to face, I either out loud say, I love you and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for being you. Or I quietly, when I hear their story, I actively ignore that by erasing the pain in my mind. I use it as a mantra. I love you and I'm sorry you had to experience such trauma as a child. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you for being you. And it's about getting back to zero. And we are more energy than matter and more wave than particle. What we are screams so loudly we don't have to speak. Those prayers can be felt on the other side of the world. They've done studies that you can pray for people all the way across the world. Those prayers are sent out to the universe. That's why Dr. Hew Len, when he said it to the folders of the patients, he didn't even say that to them face to face. He said it in his office to their folders. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And he was taking 100% responsibility for seeing the clients in their illness, and he chose to see them in their wellness. This is my own perception of this, but I love this prayer. Dr. Joe Vitale wrote a book called Zero Limits, which I highly recommend. And Dr. Hew Len has YouTube videos. He passed away last year, but what an amazing man. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. And this prayer has immensely helped my relatives, my friends, my clients, and I continually say this prayer over and over and over again. And learning this prayer 11 years ago has dramatically changed my life. These 10 words will change your life. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you and I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you for being you. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and all my love, and also my blogs, SusanFoxley.com. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for being you.